Alright, so just another quick video here. We got the story on December 7th in regards to this lady right here who is going to be on Jeopardy, but she died before the episode aired. She actually died on December 5th, but they never put this story out in the mainstream media until December 7th. And I'll show you why they did that. There's a reason that they did that. The episode actually airs, I guess it's 2 in the morning now, so it actually airs later today. I'm going to DVR it because I'm sure whatever happens on that episode will be synced up to the stuff that I'm talking about in this video. You know, who knows? Maybe her name equals 41 in Gematria. Maybe she'll finish with like $4,100. Who knows? We'll see what's going on with it. We'll DVR it and watch it tonight, but it's supposed to be on at 4 o'clock today on December 13th. Anyway, this is exactly what I'm talking about in regards to things being coded by the numbers. And, you know, our mainstream media, I've proved a billion times, is when they highlight certain things in the article, they code them with what is called gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words or letters and phrases. And they use this system. It's like a whole different language. That's how they control us. They control the sports leagues. They know how to either manipulate it, or they also just, I think it's both. I think they know how to manipulate some type of universal thing that is truly going on, and they also just create stupid stories like this, and they make them fit by the numbers, and that's part of the manipulation, you know? So anyway, in Gematria, Jeopardy equals 40, and the big way it equals 94. Alex Trebek in Gematria also equals 40 the small way, just like Jeopardy. So you wonder why Alex Trebek is the host? Well, his name Gematria fits with Jeopardy. This lady supposedly died from colon cancer. Colon cancer in Gematria equals 49 and 103. Alex Trebek, with the K exception, equals 49, the big way, 103. Alex Trebek's full name, Georgie Suka Alex Trebek, equals 94 the small way in Gematria. Jeopardy, the big way, equals 94. He was also born in the year 40. Remember, Jeopardy, the small way, equals 40. I mean, it's so obvious why they chose him as being the host, because his name fits Jeopardy. They also said that this lady in the article, she's dying from stage 4 cancer. Stage 4 equals 40, just like Jeopardy. The guy who supposedly, or the guy who created Jeopardy, his name in Gematria, the big way, equals 127. And they report this story on 12/7, a lot like 127. You know, later on, I talk about Ken Jennings, and, you know, this is the guy who won 74 times on Jeopardy. And every time I think of Jeopardy, I think of Alex Trebek, and I think of this guy. This guy, his streak on Jeopardy, it came to an end on November 30th of 2004. If you go from November 30th, 2004 to 12/7, the day that we got the story about the cancer lady on Jeopardy, it's a span of 12 years, 7 days. A lot like 12/7, you know, a lot like the guy who created Jeopardy's name. But anyway, let's get back to this story here. So Jeopardy is also in its 33rd season, 33, this huge number of obsession with these people. It's the master teacher number. It's the highest degree in Scottish Rite Freemasonry. And the Freemasons are part of the people who are behind this, and they know how to manipulate this, and they're using this system to their advantage. You know, the Freemasons, the Zionists, the Jesuits, it's all one and the same pretty much. So just interesting, I guess. It's Jeopardy's 33rd season. Then we get a story about Jeopardy in the news. Also, if you go from the day that Jeopardy's 33rd season began to the day that we got the story, a span of 87 days. 87, one of them special numbers in regards to Freemasonry. If you write out 87, it's identical both ways to the word Freemasonry. Also, the story comes out 139 days after Alex Trebek's birthday. 139, Freemasonry equals 139, 87 equals 139, 33rd season, 87 days later. Also, in regards to Freemasonry, so Ken Jennings, the guy who was like the best contestant ever on Jeopardy, supposedly, if you notice, he was born in the year 74, and he is now age 42. The word Freemason in Gematria equals 42. The word Masonic equals 74. But it's just interesting that, you know, he won 74 episodes of Jeopardy. He was born in the year 74. And now he's 42. And you know, he's synced up to this lady's death. 12 years, 7 days later. His name in Gematria, 50 and 122. And he lost on the 75th episode to a lady named Nancy Zerg that has 50 Gematria, just like his name. Her name, the big way, equals 113, and then he lost on November 30th, 11/30, a lot like 113. The lady with cancer, she died on the 75th anniversary, or that's when the story came out, the 75th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack. And if you write out 75 in Gematria, it equals 53. Her name, Cindy Stowell, equals 53. If you write out 53, it equals 122, just like Ken Jennings, the big way. So there's kind of some interrelated things going on with it. Also, the episode that she was on, they filmed it on September 21st, and she died 75 days later. You know, and you see the connection to her name and the number 75. Ken Jennings loses on his 75th episode. Ken Jennings also was on Jeopardy for a total span of 181 days. 181, the 42nd prime number, Freemason 42. He's age 42 now. It's just so obvious. They used him in the coding because they know that when people think of Jeopardy, they think of Alex Trebek and they think of him. And possibly there's some other people that are on Jeopardy that I don't know about that I should look up. I guarantee they're probably somehow in connection to what I'm talking about. So this lady dies age 41. The show, I guess today, December 13th, has a date numerology of 41. This lady dies age 41, and now they're going to put the show on a date numerology of 41. So I wonder if she's going to win like $4,100, like I said. I think in the beginning I said her name equaled 41. It's actually 53, so maybe she'll win $5,300. Or, you know, I don't know. We'll see what's going on with it. I truly am interested because I want to watch it, but just interesting. Alex Trebek, super connected to Jeopardy. I mean, it's very obvious. This stuff happens all the time, even in sports and everything else. Another example I can think of right off the top of my head is Indianapolis Colts equals 192. Andrew Austin Luck equals 192. I mean, stuff like that happens constantly. You know, in regards to Jeopardy, it reminds me a lot of something that I talked about a very long time ago. Before I even knew Gematria, it was in regards to Weird Al. You know, because I noticed Weird Al, he used to be one of my favorite artists. I went and seen him when I was like 12 years old. It was awesome. One of the best shows ever, you know. And as I started learning a lot more about how the world really works, I found out that Weird Al is like super connected to the number 27. You can just look up Weird Al on any search engine and type in 27. You'll find all this stuff. He's just super connected to the number 27. It's a lot like back in the 90s. I remember looking up stuff about Tupac and the 7-day theory and blah, 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 so much other stuff. And then, you know, when you learn gematria, it just puts it into such a bigger perspective. Like Tupac Shakur equals 139, like Freemasonry. He died on September 13th, 13/9. His last studio album came out on February 13th, 213. He died 213 days later. A lot of stuff that they don't tell you about from way back. But moral of the story, Weird Al, super connected to the number 27. And I remember reading somewhere that he was on Wheel of Fortune a few times, and he won like $27,000 or something like that. Just if you look it up, you'll find it. There's so many 27s on this little deal here when I typed it in. Here it is right here. Weird Al was on Wheel of Fortune. He won $27,800 on his first episode and $2,700 on the Friday finals. You know, so Weird Al super connected to 27, and this is the reason why. Now that I know gematria, I understand why Weird Al connected to the number 27. Weird Al Yankovic in gematria equals 172. If you write out the word 27, it also equals 172. That's right there. Prime example of why Weird Al does everything with the number 27. If you just write out Weird Al, it equals 72, which is the mirror or the reflection of 27. So there you go. That's why Weird Al does everything with the number 2772, because his name in gematria has connections to it. And that's the same with this Jeopardy episode and this lady and everything. I'm telling you, just look up anything in history. You will find tons of connections in regards to people's gematria and how they sync up to the calendar all throughout history. So, gonna leave it at that. Done rambling. Peace. Have a good one.